Hello everyone and welcome back to CalCast. It's been, 6 months since the last episode that's not even public. It's been a year since the last real episode where we actually talk about Calamity. And it's been about 3 years since the last episode, it's actually public, that you can go watch. But before we get into that, I would like to quickly say that before the last episode, Bronze voluntarily stepped down, so he will be missed. But he's not forgotten, and the door is always open. Bronze resigning, combined with a certain individual that we will get to later, had led to the vacancy of 2 host slots that are now occupied by Congrats is Trash, aka CIT, and Lilac Taylor. You guys want to introduce yourselves then?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Congrats is Trash. I am the changelog writer for Calamity. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. I also do some testing and a little bit of programming. If you've ever used the Super Radiant Slaughter, I did the main programming for that.
Hi, my name is Lilac Taylor Olagochi. Most people probably know me as the person who now owns the Calamity Mod Discord. Somewhat lesser known is that I've been a former developer of the Calamity Mod since 2018-ish. I did the organization of the original Astral update, as well as a little bit of the Abyss, before I stepped back to do a little bit of art and just kind of poking in the chat for a while when I focused on other things. And then I actually left the development team this year to try and pull myself back from developing before the whole situation with Fabsol happened. Yes, since that last episode of CalCast, I am a new apartment, so everything's a lot better.
And one other thing that's worth noting is that Lilac is specifically the owner of the server, the Calamity Mod Discord server. They are not the owner of the mod. The owner of the mod is Ositron. They have that nice separation of powers now, instead of one person being the
basically
supreme overlord. Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, we should probably start with the most serious subject and the thing that people are probably wondering about, and that is Shay. So I guess I'll start first. So just to quickly reiterate what I said in my post a few weeks ago, pretty much the only time that me and Shay ever talked was specifically on this show, and occasionally me asking questions about Calamity's development. And I didn't really know them well, and I also was completely unaware of what the hell they were actually doing behind the scenes. If you're unaware, I'll link the Google Doc in the description, but it's pretty bad stuff. Yeah, it's just really sad all around, and my sympathies do go out to the victims. It's kind of ridiculous how long they managed to get away with this. At least their actions finally were brought to light, so at least hopefully we can rest easy that there shouldn't be any more victims.
Yeah.
Something that's kind of goofy about the whole situation is the, Shay left all the servers I had with them, a couple days before the incident happened, but interestingly, they decided not to leave this server in particular. The server that we held CalCast in, so I had to manually boot them out.
They also didn't leave the no-hit server or the weapon tier list server as well. It's kind of weird. They only left dev server and Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, did they really think that they weren't going to be immediately ousted?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty obvious that was going to happen once the 200 plus page Google Doc came out.
Yeah, it was just over for them. And so, even though my personal connection with Shay wasn't too extreme, multiple people in here have actually met Shay in person. That was being JFL and Lilac. So if you two want to talk about your experiences with Shay?
It's weird because I actually met Shay through TGH's Twitch years and years and years ago, before both of us became developers of the mod, and Shay is more well known to being an Undertale speedrunner. That's the heaviest hit of the server and community is, and I'd considered Shay basically a friend. It hit pretty hard.
JFL, do you have anything you want to add?
Okay, it was more just a one-off thing for content a while ago. I mean, I met them through the whole I think it was actually right before 22? About the same time that Ivan was showing off some of the things before. It was the update that reworked all the Wolfram stuff.
Oh yeah, that would have been 2022, I think.
Yeah, it was back then a bit.
Yeah.
22 happened in December of 2022, which makes it easy to remember.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so it probably would have been the same year. In any case, I met them through that as just kind of hey, this is someone who's a tester, and I wanted to, try out the thing with Glorious End and that funny shenanigan, moving at 10,000 miles an hour. Fun stuff. But it was just kind of a casual meeting, and then I just honestly, I just kind of became a fan of their personality and just, being around. We wouldn't really talk a whole lot. We were like mutual friends in a way, right?
It's a little bit nefarious, too, because I distinctly remember when 25 happened earlier this year in May, when I got caught in that.
I prefer the name Fabsolution, personally.
Fabsolution is so
Sorry.
good. Defabbing, yeah. But Shay was the first person that came out to help me, and their community actually just stepped through to help me meet up my Ko-Fi goal, which was I lowballed the Ko-Fi goal, unfortunately, because it was a lot more of an expensive move than it really was, but that's okay. It was still enough to help me kind of make my way through into getting that move. Like, they were the first person that helped, and it's just so bizarre, but also, like, at the same time kind of makes sense as a nefarious way of kind of put themselves out as, like, this beacon of positivity and goodness while doing all of that, because they knew that they could get away with it.
Shay was the one, when the whole defabbing thing happened, he was the one who, like, posted the message in the main Discord server, like, about the whole thing.
Yeah, and Shay was also on the episode that's been unlisted. In that episode, like, Shay was very, very vehement, like, very vehemently condemning Fab's actions, which, like, the way that Shay was so vehement kind of makes me wonder if they were, trying to cover up something as well. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can't help but think those kinds of thoughts whenever something like this happens, like trying to re-examine everything they ever did.
Yeah, it especially hits hard because, like, we all knew that Fabsol was, like, not a good person. Like, he was very caustic, and I have plenty of, like, personal experiences with him, but Shay was, kept all that in the dark. When you're a victim of Shay, like, you have so much to lose for someone as popular and big as they were. Shay had all the power to, like, condemn them if they could. That's what the power imbalance is with your fans versus, a top, well, not really a top celebrity, but, like, an internet celebrity like that. This, like, a PSA to everybody, be careful with those types of people who have, like, big followings on Twitch or YouTube or anything like that. Just be careful.
Don't meet your heroes, kids. I do have one also thing I want to say specifically regarding, like, Shay as a role model or as a beacon. If, I hope that this doesn't, like, come across as me overstepping my bounds too much as, like, a non-LGBT person, but, like, Shay was a big creator. Shay was also LGBT, and the fact that they were, to me, indicates that they had to have known how LGBT people can tend to be treated online, right? Especially whenever something big like this happens, like, even if it's not directly related to their, like, what they identify as or anything like that. Bigots will still use any ammunition they can get, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so Shay had to have known that, because again, they were, savvy. They knew what they were doing. And the fact that they decided to still do it anyway, to me, just kind of, like, betrays their entire cause. They had to have known that, like, this would reflect badly on the community as a whole. I just hope that doesn't come across as, like, me going too far.
No. And I think it's less to do with being LGBT and more... It's hard to describe this because, like, I don't want to get into politics or anything like that, but, like...
To be clear, I'm not saying that the reason that Shay did this has anything to do with them being LGBT at all. I'm just saying that, like, it will be used as ammunition.
Yeah, like, and also the sheer difference in the way that the whole situation with Fabsol was, like, Shay got him, like, very, very quickly doxxed. There was a lot of vitriol against Shay compared to, well, I wouldn't say a lot of vitriol, but, like, the Undertale community is much bigger than the Calamity mod community, but there was a lot of vitriol, and I don't know if it was because there was a dox on Shay, and that pissed me off more than anything, because, like, I mentioned this when the whole situation with Fabsol happened, is that you are actively putting other people in danger when you do that sort of thing, especially if people were especially people were still living with them. So don't ever do that. Anybody listening, don't do that.
Unfortunately, the internet tends to be rather ruthless at times.
But I think Shay didn't think about it either. Shay was in a position of power, an inherent position of power over other people, over other minorities, and just either did not think or knew and took advantage of that. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, it just makes it all the more insidious, I'd say. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, we kind of had to talk about it. It was obligatory. I think we can finally start moving on to what this video is actually supposed to be about, and that is, of course, the Sunken Sea update.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that the reason that we're doing this now, and not after the update comes out, is because if we waited until after the update to come out, this video would be about 5 hours long. So I'm doing this now just so that we can like mainly discuss stuff that can still be shown. So we're just going to be focusing on like the stuff that we do know and like stuff that like known spoilers and that kind of thing. So I guess we'll start off with what I'm personally most excited about, something I've been wanting for years, and that is the Devourer of Gods finally being made into a good boss.
I've played that rework several times, like a few months ago when Doze made it. It's so much better than what we have right now.
Long time coming.
One of the Fargo's devs, JVZ, he has been fairly critical of Calamity in the past, and even he went out of his way to say that New Dog is like one of the best, like the best boss in Calamity, New Dog. So if even he was impressed by Dog, I mean, I think Dog should be one hell of a fight.
And the crazy thing is, it's not even that big of a rework. Like, it's actually just a few minor tweaks that make the fight just feel so much better and flow so much better.
Something I've criticized with Dog a lot in the past is that he feels too docile for a late game boss. I mean, like, he barely does anything. He spends most of his time screwing off because of that Crawlipede AI or whatever. Yeah, he just spends so much of his time doing nothing, going off and exploring the stratosphere for no reason. And, like, I just think it's kind of embarrassing. That's really the most famous boss in Calamity. Like, this is the best that Calamity has to offer. Which is why, at least I've thought that, like, Dog specifically needed attention more than any other boss in the mod at the moment. But yeah, I'm super excited for the Dog rework.
Yeah, devs have popped off, and I'm really happy to see that.
I also have thumbnails ready. I'll be there day one.
If I may, I just think it's interesting quite like how many weapon reworks are occurring in this update specifically. And I think it's really exciting because we all know that the Sunken Sea update has been, like, for the lack of a better word, maybe like all over the place.
I mean, I think it's without a doubt and without exaggeration the largest update in Calamity history.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's not even close. It's like nearly twice the size of the Draedon update. I think the changelog is like 600,000 characters long right now.
Well, have fun for you.
I am the one typing all of that. Dude, there's like over 100 weapon reworks, I think.
And I think most of that was before the Fabsol thing, because if I remember correctly, like, at least from my memories of the dev group, was that that's all we could do until we could do the bosses.
Well, yeah, because development was like super defocused.
I mean, what I've heard at least is that you guys weren't exactly ready to do the Sunken Sea.
I wouldn't say it's that we weren't ready as much as that we like couldn't put like a whole team together and just like focus on a single task. We'd just like constantly be drifting off doing all these random weapon reworks and stuff instead of focusing on the Sunken Sea.
I just think that, like, genuinely, that the Sunken Sea update is not a representative name. Like, I think a better name for it would be something like the Modernizing update, because, like, so many, like, old bad Calamity systems are finally being updated to be, like, you know, actually good, to match modern content standards. Like, a lot of stuff in Calamity has been, or at least a lot of the bosses, at least, have been very stagnant for very long because of a certain person that refused to update them. And that's kind of more of the issue, at least with Fab's style of development. It wasn't necessarily so much that the bosses were initially made to be that bad, because, I mean, when they were made, obviously, content standards were lower and everything. It's more the fact that they were just never updated, like, to match modern content standards.
Yeah.
The kind of bosses that were made, like, you know, 8 or 9 years ago, like, those don't hold up by modern standards at all.
Yeah.
And so just the fact that, you know, a lot of the bosses are still very similar to the way they were years ago, or like only getting these trivial changes like a lot of them did, it just feels like it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah, and Andrew spent more time basically, like, making different difficulties rather than overhauling the system from the ground up.
Which would then lead to development hurdles with the entire team trying to test things and holding that entire process up. It would just stop everything.
Just randomly vetoing ideas out of nowhere because, like, yeah, you can just do that.
Speaking as someone who lived with Fabsol for a while, it really felt like he spent more time playing games on Discord with his friends than really doing much of anything else.
I can kind of relate to that, honestly. I feel like that's all I've been doing for the past, like 7 months now. I've been just doing nothing. Although I joke about it, like, I mean, obviously as a project head, you kind of have more responsibilities and you kind of need to be doing stuff. Especially, one thing that's worth noting is, you know, when you're getting paid for that on Patreon. Yeah. Speaking of Patreon, I actually kind of want to talk about one change that since Fabsol is gone now, exactly how the Patreon money works. So the way that it works now is that, like, individual jobs have, like, bounties put on them, right?
Yes.
If like a feature needs to be implemented, then it's just like, you know, the bounty just goes up and up until it's finally added and then someone gets paid out.
Yeah, essentially, like that. It's just like monetary payouts for like doing specific like crucial stuff for updates, and it's paid using Patreon money.
Part of the reason it's done specifically that way, as opposed to like some kind of like hourly wage, is just because then it avoids taxes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because if you paid an hourly wage, you'd be like an employee legally, and that would like do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think even now the Patreon doesn't have enough to do full hourly wages for every single employee, which is like, what, 30 people still?
It's like, I thought it was more like 40.
40, yeah.
40 or 50.
Plus
40 to
plus
50.
the translators, because they got translator teams now for specific languages, and yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, they get paid for that?
No.
Well, then it's not an expense then, is it?
They're not technically on the team, but they are in the server. Any localization task where it's like something you'd put a bounty on for development.
Yeah.
$500 to translate all of Calamity into Russian.
Oh my god.
Still doing better than Undertale.
I think that would be more than $500, I'm not gonna lie. There's so much text in Calamity.
Alright, so we talked about Dog. There's a lot of other bosses that are getting reworked as well, like probably the other worm boss I'm excited about getting changed, Destroyer. I don't think I've said this on the show, but I personally think that specifically version 1.5.0, which was the Draedon update, was the best version of Destroyer that's ever existed. And by like best, I mean like the only one that was even kind of serviceable. Because before that he was just he was just a laser spam fuckfest, and after that he was also kind of that. I'm happy that he's finally being restored to 1.5.0, which is where he fires his lasers like Deus does, or Deus, where he starts at the head and fires the segments one by one until they all go, which is a lot better because it's a lot more predictable and it doesn't just feel like 400 octillion lasers that you have absolutely zero chance of dodging. I've only fought that version of Destroyer on Malice, and even then I didn't think it was that bad. So like that just show that like that was, in my opinion, like genuinely the best version of Destroyer ever, and so maybe Destroyer finally has a chance of being good again. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I was the person who personally did that, actually, because I remember that old version of Destroyer, and I was like, yeah, that would definitely be a lot better to bring back, just to like hold off on before like Destroyer gets like a full rework at some point, and who knows when.
There's like Brain of Cthulhu too, which that was teased recently.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's like 11 different attacks to it or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't remember like the exact number, but yeah, it's like a lot. To the point where like some of them had to like be cut just because there's so many attacks.
On the more Calamity side of things, there's also the Desert Scourge, which like there's always some weird disaster catastrophe going on with Desert Scourge, right?
Indeed.
Like,
Has been lately, yeah.
yeah. So I guess first thing we should probably mention the current sprite in the game is like that one is getting removed, right?
Yeah, it's getting resprited, yes.
It's because of the association with Bird, right?
Well, partially because of the association with Bird, but also just because the art team wants to take it in like a different design direction.
Yeah, and they also have posted a couple spoilers of that too. Yeah,
I think the full sprite has been shown to the Patreon, so...
Desert Scourge's rework is coming along with the Sunken Sea Itself, right?
Yes.
And what kind of like association is there between the two? Like, will you fight like Desert Scourge in like a special underground arena specifically for it?
It's not been fully decided yet, what you'll do with Desert Scourge.
Really?
Yeah, no, not yet. It's been like a bit split between what you do with it.
Can you tell us what exactly like the options were, or nah?
Just like either fighting on the surface or maybe having like a special nest underground where you can fight it. I think there is planned to have like a specific nest regardless that has like eggs with which can summon the Desert Scourge.
So with the direction of like the Sunken Sea update, I know that locations and biomes on in the world are going to be kind of more designed to have like story kind of built within it. It's like less of a randomly generated location, but there's more of like a conscious effort for things to exist within a certain biome and in a certain way. Is that a sort of direction that the team is taking with development across multiple future reworks and considerations, or is that, well, what's the thought there?
Yeah, definitely storytelling will be important in like all the different biome reworks. Not even just like with tech stuff, just like how like the biomes are set up, like the enemy types in like each region of the biome and whatnot, to like tell a story of like what happened without any words, just like environmental design stuff.
I'm assuming there's gonna be like a scorched area or something to like symbolize where Calamity's burned everything up.
That's kind of the plan, yeah.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot more story involvement within design choices, correct?
Yeah, like the lore and the art should like complement each other. It's not like one is like totally deciding the other or whatnot. They should be complementing each other as a team.
And do you feel like the team currently has like a good dynamic in order to get that done? Because I know that in the past, the Cal team has had kind of a rough time with communicating between like different departments, so to speak, of developing, and struggling to kind of really feel harmonious in the end goals. I've kind of gotten that impression over the years. Is that still something you feel like is happening to a degree, or like is it sort of getting better?
You're definitely right in that there's definitely been communication issues in the past between all the different departments, just because like you have the issue of people going off and like doing their own things, coming up with their own ideas, and then they like present it as like some objective plan, and it's like people are like, wait, no, I disagree with this, I want to do something else with this, you know? And
that sounds so awful.
oh god, yeah. But I think it's gotten a little bit better in recent times, so
That's good.
Just a little bit though?
Just a little bit better. There's always going to be conflicts between like the writing team and the art team, I feel.
Yeah.
Just because they have like different opinions on design and whatnot.
Right, but do you feel like there's more of like a kind of harmonious effort to like collaborate more recently, or is that still kind of a ongoing... It's like an ongoing uphill battle still?
I feel like that's just like a continuous thing where you have to like always learn, but I think it's definitely been better than it was in the past.
Well, hopefully things continue to go in the right direction as the development team gets more experience working with each other, and in the absence of Fab as well. I guess that you mentioned that there's like going to be like a lot of different like mini biomes. What exactly will those be for? Like what will differ between them and such? I mean, you said enemy compositions, but like what will the different purposes be of like having this like multiple like diverse biome instead of just having it be kind of the way it is now?
It's kind of hard to like give an answer to that, just because like plans are like changing around that constantly, just because like
I mean, plans are still changing this late in development though.
Yeah, people always come up with like new ideas that they want to include in this stuff. It's kind of difficult.
I mean, with a team so big, it's kind of bound to happen, isn't it?
I guess that is true, but like it would be nice if it was more stable.
Hearing the way you talk about this, I do feel like Calamity maybe could take a bit of time to just like plan a bit, like hash out some stuff, have a more like concrete solid plan of exactly what needs to be done before doing it, instead of just like, you know, this disconnected like ideas like this, just because then you kind of, it ends up being like not as coherent, and then obviously you kind of have the scope creep problem.
I mean, that has been the problem for like the past like 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say too that like Calamity, one of my friends at this point has mentioned that Calamity feels a lot like a museum, where it's like a bunch of different people who have contributed to the project still have some things that have like stayed inside, or you know, have new ideas and then leave, and then, you know, new people join the project, and it's just, it's a giant amalgamation of a project with, countless ideas and developers all contributing some sort of value to an end product that people just like for various different reasons. And it's hard to be cohesive because everyone likes it a different way, given that it never really had a cohesive idea from the beginning necessarily. It was just kind of a passion project, and it evolved into one where multiple people are seeing it as that exact passion project and trying to, make it the very best it can be, while still working with others, which, that's hard to do. And at this point, making sure that there's a strict line forward is really just messy, unless you have team leads, for example, in various departments of the mod, for example. Having people who can, not necessarily override, but just have be there for the roadmap,
There's been kind of ideas in the recent times to bring back some sort of creative director or leader on the team, just because there's it's been hard to get people to focus on a single direction or vision for updates.
I mean, that's why Sunken Sea is as spread out as it is, right?
Yeah, basically, just because people can't focus on stuff.
Yeah, and so as a result, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, which is not really a good thing.
Exactly.
There's a lot of ideas.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I think also ultimately what needs to happen is cutting things and trimming things down, because sometimes you have an idea and you can't do anything with it. And that has to be treated as that's okay. It's okay that you have this cool idea that you want to be in the mod, but you need to let it go, basically.
Just follow what Doze does and just put it in a separate mod.
Yeah.
You're being a Calamity developer doesn't mean you're forced to only ever work on Calamity and nothing else. I mean, you are allowed to put your own ideas in other mods, but I just think that Calamity does kind of suffer from that idea of just not having enough cohesion between the developers, which again is hard with so many of them. But it just I do feel like the mod health is kind of suffering as a result.
And I mean, also it's only been 6 months since the fabbiting, basically, so I can't blame the team kind of still scrambling to deal with all that, because as far as I know, there's still a bit of a legal situation that I can't really say anything about, but yeah.
There is?
Well, I mean, it's transfer of ownership and all that from...
Has Fab been putting up any resistance on that, or
no,
have they just been kind of... Okay.
It's just lawyers, it's paperwork bullshit, Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was just legal technicalities or Fab actually trying to retain ownership.
No.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
I guess I mentioned it last time, Fab trying to stay on the project would be the easiest way to kill it.
He had moments of being nice, even leading up to it. He did give me some money to help with moving and the costs that were accruing from leaving that apartment, so it was at least nice of him to do that, and I have to give credit where it's due. There's
still a handful of other bosses that are being reworked that we could talk about as well, like Old Duke, for example.
Old Duke.
Yeah, I don't know if I've said this on the show, but I definitely think that Ceaseless Void is probably the most controversial boss in Calamity, but I think Old Duke is probably the most controversial among people who play the game a lot, specifically.
Yes.
See, yeah, I'm not sure how, do you know, pretty much the full story of Old Duke and how he came to be, and how he got into his current position?
I can talk about it if you don't.
I have, fragments of the story where, it was Fabsol wanted to, make Duke Fishron drop more treasure bags or something like that. And so he just, added some, new Fishron boss for whatever reason.
Back in I think it was around 2019-ish, Fabsol wanted to do a little bit more with Duke Fishron, and we were in the middle of working on the Abyss update then, so I was doing all the organization back then, and I was okay, everybody do this, and then I kind of, my fault, let Fabsol kind of slip, because it was impossible to get him to do things, even as someone who's organizing, because I was technically working under him, So he did whatever, and he wanted to do something with Duke Fishron, and he's like, okay, I'll do a mini-boss. And then right behind my back, he's like, oh, I made this boss, and sprited and everything, got Nitro to do it. I don't know if, like, he paid Nitro, or if Nitro just did it. If I remember correctly, it was Nitro that did the Duke Fishron sprite, and that was the first major fight that I ever had with him. And ever since then, I've hated Duke Fishron. Because it was a boss that was unnecessarily added into the game. We were not intending to have a boss specifically for the Abyss itself, and there we go.
Yeah, because I remember it was kind of a surprise when it came out, because I thought, like, at the time, the only known planned bosses were Draedon, Yharon, and then maybe Noxus and Xerok. Actually, no, Noxus and Xerok
Slightly after, yeah.
I think they were confirmed at the time. Like, confirmed definitely in the mod at the time.
I know that the current plans for Old Duke are basically to ship a Theseus him.
Yeah, that's basically the plan. As far as I've heard. As far as I know, like, this was also the plan even before Fabsol left, because we were trying to, like, gently propose changes to Duke Fishron without being like, this boss sucks. There were plans to at least turn it into something more related to the, what was it, the event that's there, the Acid Rain. I don't know if that's changed since then. For the record, a lot of my, like, developer, like, hindsight stuff is from before the whole Fab situation, and maybe out of date, so that was what I heard, and what I remember talking about was that it was basically going to be changed to a different boss, into something different, instead of being like a Duke Fishron clone. That sucks.
I know there was that one sprite that was like Old Duke looking like a dragon. That was scrapped, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yes,
And
that was scrapped just because, like, it was still going on, like, the Fishron design. And of course, now that Fabsol's gone, the art team wants to make it not a Fishron. It's not gonna get removed. There'll still be a boss. It'll just be, like, killed and reborn as a lotus flower.
I love that meme. Yeah, and I think a lot of the other plans with, like, the worm bosses and all the, like, the quote-unquote copy bosses are probably going to be, I say copy bosses, but, like, clone bosses are going to be, like, reworked into something more unique and fresh, which I think is nice, because doing the third worm boss in a row can get a little bit tiresome.
I personally think people are overly harsh on worm bosses. Like, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that, like, a lot of them aren't very good right now, and not necessarily the fact that they're worm bosses, but, like, people still will call worm bosses bad as a whole. But I just personally don't like that philosophy.
I think having, like, at least 2 banger worm bosses compared to having, like, 7 mid worm bosses is still better.
There's currently 5 worm bosses in Calamity that are pure. Okay, so there's 5 pure worm bosses, and then there's 2 half worm bosses, being Exos and Perfs. It's Desert Scourge, and then Aquatic Scourge, Astrum Deus, Weaver, and Dog are the pure worms.
And then, of course, Destroyer and...
well, I mean, those are vanilla. But...
Yeah, they're vanilla, but still kind of include them in because they're going to be fighting them anyway. But
I think... Personally, I just think people are like... I think people just overestimate how many worm bosses there really are.
To be fair, like, 7 out of 43 is still a pretty high ratio.
Yeah, I don't agree, and I really think that... And like I was saying, I really don't think that people would care that much if they were better.
And that is also true.
Yeah, like, I really don't think people would have mind worm bosses if, like, you know, the ones that were actually added something to the game, instead of just feeling like really boring versions of each other. Ravager, I guess, as well, is another famous boss or famous for being bad boss. And Doze was talking about, like, making it so Ravager's pillars, you can, like, hook onto them now. They act as walls.
Yes, that is true. Though it's, like, currently stuck on a branch, as of this moment.
Is he getting any other changes?
I think there's, like, a few death mode changes related to the pillars and stuff.
So nothing super substantial in this update, then?
Nothing substantial, no. Like,
I think because it's going to be overhauled later,
substantial stuff when it gets the full rework.
Yeah, during the Crags update, yeah.
Which we're not talking about.
Yeah, no, it's not the focus.
Yeah, I jokingly suggested that, like, you should be able to mine through the pillars with a pickaxe. That would be kind of funny.
You say that as a joke, but I think Doze actually, like, really believes that, because I think he made it so that the rock pillars take, like, way more damage if you hit them with a pickaxe.
A boss that actually uses mining as part of its, like...
That's actually really clever, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I wasn't a fan of it at first when he first thought of it, but like as I think about it more, I definitely think it's a cool and novel idea.
Yeah, because I can't think of any other boss that really has that, like, has used that kind of idea before.
I'm a
Yeah,
sucker
for
for
sure.
novelty, so...
Calamitous Clone, she's getting a box, right? Like Scal does?
Yes, she's getting an arena, and it's not like a tile arena. It's like an energy field sort of arena. I don't know if Dose has like spoiled it or not, but
No, I don't think it's public, but like I do know that Dose has been talking about the fact that it wouldn't be made out of blocks or something like that, and he was also talking about that for Scal too.
yes.
About like how Scal's arena is not going to be blocks either.
Yes, Scal Arena has also been turned into like an energy force field as well. That one I know has not been spoiled because it's like one of the few things that Dose has specifically said he's not going to spoil, which I find pretty funny.
So spoil it for him then.
Yeah, he's not going to spoil the Scal Arena.
But yeah, so are they still going to behave identically to the way that the walls act? I hit the heal button. Are they still going to behave identically to the way that the walls currently act, or?
Yes, they act like basically identically to tiles.
I guess moving away from like actual mechanical reworks, do we want to talk about the Yharon sprite? It's been lost in hell for all of eternity.
Oh my god, yes. The fucking Yharon sprite. That's also been like leaked.
Yeah, it's been leaked like 57 times, and I even saved it on my phone. Isn't there like a new version of it?
No, I think the one that's leaked is like the most updated version of it.
Can I send you I'll send you the version I have in DMs. And I'm just curious if this is the like newest version of it, or if there's been another version since then.
Yeah, no, that is like the most current one that I know of.
Okay, that was spoiled a while ago. So then the people saying that there's a newer one were just lying.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like, yeah,
Alright.
it's the leaked one from the Patreon.
Well, I promise I won't leak it,
I believe you. I trust you.
but it has been leaked so many times.
That's the thing with those leaks, like you cannot contain them. It's impossible to contain anything.
I'm guessing there's still no animation on it or anything.
Yeah, no, that's like kind of on hiatus because Daya has been like busy doing his own like separate side project.
Here, have this and this and this.
Thanks. I
The epic troll. That was all intentional.
Whoops.
Daya's just been like on hiatus because he's been like working on a separate project from Calamity.
How long has the Yharon sprite been in development? Hell, now it's been like 7 years, hasn't it?
It's at that, yeah, something like that. God.
Yeah, it's just genuinely insane just how long this one sprite's been in the game. It's genuinely one of the oldest sprites in
It's
the
a
mod, isn't
Sigum
it?
sprite. It is old.
The like basic design is one of the oldest things in the mod. It's gotten like a resprite, but it was just like a color palette
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, he looked a lot more... Like, I remember his colors were a lot more vibrant on release, weren't they? And then they were, like, tuned down a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and just for clarification, that is not coming in SSO, right?
No.
Oh yeah, no, that is not gonna come unless like Daya like works like a madman. But even then, I don't think it would come in SSO.
Is that going to be paired with a rework of just his general fight as well?
Oh,
Yeah.
almost certainly, yes. That would be paired with the rework, because the current fight is lackluster in a few locations.
I mean, a lot of people like to say it's a Fishron clone. But
Arguably, yeah, it is.
I mean, it does. To be fair, I guess it does use like the same sort of dust that Duke Fishron uses when dashing.
I mean, personally, I think that one of the main things that like determines someone's answer to this question is whether they're playing on Revengeance mode or Death mode. Because on Death mode, he skips his first sub-phase, which is like the most Fishron-like phase that he has. It's like pretty much an exact carbon copy of Duke Fishron's first phase, but again, that's just the first phase and he skips it in Death.
Yeah.
So, like, I usually play on Death, so to me, Yharon doesn't feel like that much of a Fishron clone just because, like, he doesn't do the phase that's the most Fishron-like. I mean, admittedly, he does still have a couple, like, similar aspects in a couple other areas, but, like, I wouldn't really call him a clone of Fishron in Death mode.
Yeah, it's just like archaic behavioral copy-pastes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fabsol coding.
Fabsol.
Yeah.
The horse.
And I'm guessing Yharon isn't going to be, like, get a rework until that sprite actually comes out.
Oh yeah, the rework would not come without the sprite.
That's kind of what I figured. I guess one other thing that I can mention, this not coming in Sunken in SSO, I don't think, but so something I'm still kind of excited about regardless is the Exo rework. They are slated for one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The entire team absolutely fucking hates the fight.
Yeah. Like, I think Exo are like the single biggest boss where, like, how good I think they objectively are versus how much I like them is, like, at its most, like, different. Because I really like Exos, but I admit they are a really terrible boss.
I think, yeah, like, Exomechs are, like, top 3 boss that the team most universally agrees is terrible and needs a rework. Just because, like, they don't function well together.
Before Dog was getting changed, I was saying that Dog was, like, the boss that desperately needed a rework out of all Calamity bosses. And that was mainly like a cross product of like how late in the game he is combined with like how famous he is, because I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Dog is the most famous boss in modded Terraria. And the fact that he was so bad for so long is just embarrassing. But now that that's fixed, I think Exos are the next biggest target, just because they like similar to Dog, they are very close to the end, which so like you'd expect that the bosses would get better at the end, but at the moment they just, you know, Scal is pretty good, but then Exos are very lackluster.
Yeah, it feels like Fabsol tried to do like what you call a test boss. Like, oh, here are these previous bosses that you fought before. Can you have you taken what you've learned to this boss and did it badly? That's what it feels like. I forget the word for it.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a lack of synergy that they have between them, which I think is probably the biggest sore spot in the fight. I mean, it doesn't feel like they're a team of like massive war machines trying to kill you. It just feels like there's 3 separate things doing their own thing, all trying to kill you separately.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the biggest sore spot of them, and also why I love Infernum Exomechs, by the way. I think Infernum does that so much better.
Just like the lack of synergy, and then Fabsol like responding to that, but like instead of like trying to put in the effort to make them synergistic or whatever the word is, instead of making them do that, just keeps like putting random nerfs to like projectile velocity, projectile attack speed, whatever, until they're basically neutered.
I mean, yeah, Thanatos got absolutely lobotomized.
Yeah.
It's like one message I saw that I think perfectly summed it up that I can put in the server.
That rework of Exos is not coming in this update, right?
Oh yeah, no, it will not be. Just because there's much bigger focuses than an Exomechs rework.
All of pre-hard mode for one.
Sunken Sea is a much bigger focus than like any of these other like non-Sunken Sea related boss reworks.
Even though there's still quite a few of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like pretty much every boss probably needs some sore touch-ups.
It's just surprising how long it was able to go on. Like the fact that the bosses are the way that they are in 2025. One other quick thing regarding Exos. This might be a rumor, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I've heard that their rework is also coming with their theme. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, so CD Music will have the theme done by the time that they're ready. Or maybe, I guess they'll be waiting on each other then, whoever finishes first.
Or yeah, like the plan is to like release them at the same time.
Alright. That's what I thought, but I just couldn't remember like specifically what dev said that. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
So I was under the hope that Exo's rework would kind of follow the same like idea as I forget if the mod is called like Wrath of the Machines or whatever. That fight is so beautiful. It looks so good, and I just really love that. I know that there were at least thoughts of like communicating to ask if that would be something that could be in the mod. And I'm not asking for confirmation on this either, but still, I'm hoping, okay? I'm holding out hope.
I remember Fabsol talking a long time ago about considering putting Infernum stuff as like an extra mode in Calamity itself, and then 22 happened, so... Yep.
He actually considered that?
Yeah, it fell through. I could see it happening again, but...
Well, no, I don't think it's happening. I don't think Lucille is interested in continuing to update Infernum.
No, I don't think she is.
Yeah, no. Infernum hasn't been updated in like years. It's basically just been in constant maintenance.
Yeah, and speaking of Infernum, I actually, like, even though I know the show is about Calamity, I did want to mention, next update, Infernum is not going to be, like, working with Calamity on the Sunken Sea update, right? Infernum will be, like, dependent on a legacy version of Calamity, probably the current version. and it will just be on the current version of Calamity forever and not update with it anymore. When I say current, I mean 2.0.7.
I heard the same.
I can't confirm what the Infernum dev team is doing, but like, yeah, it's either 2.1 or like they're not going to port to 1.4.5 vanilla whenever that comes to Tmod.
No, I think they mentioned that it would be on 1.4.5, but just not 1.4.5 Calamity, like the Calamity version that's on 1.4.5.
Years and years and years ago, I think back in 2018 or something, back when Ozotron first appeared on the scene, basically, Ozotron and I did a playthrough of Calamity, and that was probably the most fun that I've ever had playing the game. I think that's when Ozotron first like came onto the scene too. I think the mod's in good hands with
That's awesome.
with Ozotron.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was mentioned last time that, like, people had always looked up to Oz as more of a leader than Fab did.
Yeah, he has his caustic moments, and a good number of it was, like, due to the circumstances of having to manage an entire mod, and I get it, too, because I did all the organization back then, too, that, like, it's hard to manage a mod when you've got someone who's so unpredictable and so caustic to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was generally a nightmare that the mod didn't, like, tear itself apart sooner under Fab.
Yeah.
But at least it survived, and it's, you know, better than ever.
Right.
Well, we gotta, like, first of all, we have to actually release this damn update already.
What's the schedule for that kind of look? I know you can't say anything probably regarding that, but like,
They don't know
do you
either.
feel as, yeah, and I don't want to put any pressure either, but like, do you feel as though like, how do I phrase this without asking that question?
Just be rude, like, where the fuck is the update? That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, come on guys, what the hell?
I can't really give any sort of ETA on when the update's gonna come out.
Would you say that it's, like, still ballooning, like, still getting larger and larger and larger, like, more and more stuff being added, or is it more just trying to finish up the stuff that's already been added?
I would say it's the latter. Like, people have gotten to the point where they finally, like, notice, like, we can't add more stuff to this update. It's already fucking massive.
Stuff like the accessory reworks, like the Amalgam. Oh my god. Oh my god, give.
That's something I actually want to talk about too, and that's actually one of the things I had specifically on the list was the Amalgam rework, and I don't think I know what it is. Can someone please fill me in?
So, as far as I know, the Amalgam now makes all of your debuffs deal 3 times damage. And that's like the entire accessory.
Not the entire accessory, it still has its old effects, I think.
So it's still plus 15% damage and the dodge.
And the potion effects thing.
Yeah, it's like 15% damage, dodge, and I think it like makes your attacks inflict like a big cocktail of debuffs now.
I do hope that is enough to actually make it viable, because like at the moment it's just such a mediocre accessory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of carried by the 15% damage. Ow, ow, ow.
I mean, like, in terms of practical effects, it's the only things that people ever actually use it for is specifically the dodge and the damage. Like, I mean, yeah, it does have the potion effects, but come on, no one... Yeah, like, 99% of people have, like, some sort of QOL to, like, not have to worry about potions ever. I know the Calamity has said that it doesn't want to balance around QOL mods existing, but they do exist, is the thing. Like, I mean, you can't just pretend they're not there, because they are. And they do impact the way that people play the game.
Yeah, that's...
So, like, I just think that, like, philosophy of pretending that QOL mods don't exist is silly. But at the same time, I also understand not wanting to necessarily balance around it either.
More so, like, the philosophy is shifting towards, like, having less QL, because then you can, like, tell people, like, you can customize your own experience by adding more QL if you want it. Versus, like, putting in all of this QOL into the mod, making it super centralized. And if people don't want it, have, like, no way to remove it.
A certain JFL in the room?
I really like that philosophy. Okay, stop. You called me out, okay? I get it. I get it!
But yeah, obviously.
Fuck you! You read me like a goddamn book.
What are you doing, man?
Good times.
Those who are more apprehensive to QOL are pretty happy about this change, I would like these different, like, that general philosophy, not necessarily any one change in particular. Okay, I built some really crappy houses on the beach.
Yay.
I'm building a less crappy house on
Yeah,
the
I saw
ice.
that when I was dropping by. I'm just
Okay,
like...
so on, what is today? Today's the 13th. On the 13th day of December, I gave to JFL this...
Thing.
and this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
Oh my god, wait, ah!
You're welcome.
One weapon, speaking of, that I'm like really excited for is the rework to the Old Lord set. Or the first... what is... Dude, that weapon line? You know what I'm talking about, right?
The Old Lord Claymore?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the Blade Crest Oatsword line.
God, that thing looks so cool. And I genuinely can't wait for like tons of other weapons that are coming into the mod. And also just being like reworked, and I can't wait for the update just because of all the things that like you talked about this update being called modernization update. Like there's so many cool things that are being added to it that I'm just way too excited for.
Like, this update genuinely touches on like all parts of the mod. It's genuinely insane. I really do hope that it can live up to the hype, because man, like with just how long it's been in development and how many things have been teased, like
It's been a long time coming.
It has been. It's been so long.
Tmod 2026.
hopefully it'll take an entire another year from now.
I think I would die if it took until 2027.
2027 is when Mega Man comes out, so maybe. Will we finally get Calamity update before we get another Mega Man game? Hey!
Although Calamity will most certainly update after 1.4.5, right? Like after that comes out to Tmod?
At least, yeah.
At this pace, yeah, I mean, like the speed of Tmod porting is a question mark there, so that I can't predict. It kind of depends on just like how much 1.4.5 changes.
I wonder what they're going to continue adding after that, because we all know Terraria is eternal, it is undying. Pray it does not take too hideous a form.
Yeah.
I hope someone gets that reference.
I got it. I think.
The Tesla potion, it's being turned into an accessory now, isn't it?
Yes, that I did that one. Yes. Like funny horror stories that came out of like defabbiting is the fact that like Fabsol balanced bosses around using the Tesla potion.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Yes, you heard me right.
I didn't even know about that. I would have said something. God.
I think it sort of came up after you like left the team.
Okay, it happened afterwards. Oh, yeah.
Because it was like him like talking about aquatic aberrations in the dev server, and it's like talking about how they're fair because he used Tesla potion or something.
Jesus.
No.
Makes you wonder how he managed to stay in power for so long. It really does.
He certainly had some interesting ideas.
Yeah.
I'm being genuine here. It is surprising that Calamity managed to survive for how long he was. Like, it's genuinely ridiculous. Just the more I hear about him, it's just like, how in the hell did this mod not implode? Like, 5 years ago? Speaking of accessories, earlier we were talking about the like Calamity's new philosophy moving forward with like quality of life and like such, and one other very notable change is the removal of the Ankh shield recipe components. And one other thing that's also worth noting is Asgard's Valor is no longer going to require Ankh shield, so you don't have to worry about grinding all those random ass items just to get the one like critical, like pivotal accessory that everyone uses as soon as they kill Plantera.
Especially since
that is gonna feel so nice.
Especially since Ankh shield now you have to get the stupid Medusa mirror, right?
It won't be necessary for Asgard's Valor, which, you know, probably one of the most popular accessory choices in
I mean, that's kind of like the whole reason they even had crafting recipes.
Yeah, it's just because of how important Asgard's Valor is, but,
just because Fabsol didn't want to, like, grind all this stuff, because he made it used for Asgard's Valor.
Because grinding bad. And I mean that, like, ironically. Grinding is fine. It's just Fabsol specific.
Grinding is fine as long as it doesn't feel like you're like making no progress and you're gonna be here for like 3 hours waiting for it. Like if you're farming for Rod of Discord and Vanilla, for example,
yeah.
But I mean, like in Calamity, it's probably like even if you wanted to grind Ankh Shield for whatever reason, even though you don't need it for Asgard's Valor, like even then you probably still like it won't be that bad because more enemies are gonna be able to drop it, right? And also they're gonna have a higher chance at it, I think.
I think the change that was made was not like increasing the drop rate, it was making more enemies drop the components.
Okay, I thought it was both. Okay, so it's just one. Alright.
Like for example, I think he made Armored Viking drop Armor Polish.
And also, will Ankh Shield be used for anything else? Because at the moment it's just Asgard's Valor.
I think there was plans to like make it go into like a new accessory that's focused on like debuff immunities and knockback and stuff.
Could it maybe, like, even give immunity against some debuffs that are later in progression than it?
Probably.
Because, like, I know that's kind of an ongoing meme. Like, for example, with Asgardian Aegis, like, obviously it only gives you immunity to Godslayer Inferno after you've killed Dog.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I feel like that's more so like a balancing thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It totally makes sense, but I'm just saying at the same time, like, if all this accessory does is, like, give you immunity to debuffs, then, I mean, it doesn't seem that useful on the surface.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah, like, the problem, of course, was Asgard's Valor just being so centralizing.
And speaking of Asgard's Valor and, like, dominance in the, like, accessory meta, there's, like, Doze is, like, trying to, like, make the mod less dependent on ram dashes as a whole, right?
Yes, he nerfed ram dashes.
He nerfed the amount of iframes that they give, right?
He, like, nerfed their speed, he, like, nerfed the amount of time they give the iframes. I can't remember if there's anything else.
He was talking about that with the Elasian Aegis and just how dominant it is.
Yeah, for sure. Over, like, the dodge dashes and stuff. Which, by the way, those have gotten their own changes as well to make them more viable.
I mean, to be fair, they did still have their purposes on bosses where you didn't need to ram. Like, I mean, Void Sash is good on, like, Exos and Scal, but obviously not Yharon. And then there's, like, Master Ninja Gear is good on Moonlord, and then
yeah, that is true as
good
well.
on Providence and such.
You could, like, reasonably use either a dodge dash or a ram dash.
What about boss, like, behavior, though? Because obviously, like, the main reason that this was a problem at all was just because of, like, the general boss design philosophy. I know that Doze specifically said he wasn't happy with how necessary that ram dashes felt like they were for most of the game. So, like, how exactly is, like, boss AI going to be adjusted to accommodate for that?
I don't think there's, like, a single answer for that, just because, like, boss design can vary wildly based on the boss, or, like, what user is designing the boss, and etc.
Someone like Yharon is obviously a very ram-heavy boss, and, like, really leans into it. I mean, you don't need a ram dash to kill Yharon, but, like, it's kind of obvious, or at least it feels pretty obvious that that's, like, he wants you to use one for him.
Yeah, I mean, just because, like, the fight is centered around charges, which could change if the boss gets reworked, but, like, there's no plans around that so far.
I am just kind of curious of seeing how exactly this, like, how the meta develops without the need for, like, a ram dash being a cornerstone for most builds for most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, because I know Fabsol, like, usually almost always tested with ram dashes, so with, like, different people designing bosses and, like, testers being able to use more diverse choices, like, the boss design should become healthier over time.
I mean, yeah, it definitely will. Obviously, Fab not being at the wheel is a big step in the right direction. But, I mean, yeah, I just, like, hope that more stuff is taken into account rather than just, like, you know, half an hour of testing, like, before publishing a boss.
Like, even take the Brain of Cthulhu rework, for example. Like, Big E has been constantly posting progress on that and, like, constantly asking for testing feedback.
Yeah, that's always been the problem, is that, everything is happening after, like, all the attacks are programmed in. Like, Fabsol used to just disappear, work on things, and then be like, okay, here's these things.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a general problem I've noticed somewhat. It's just like people disappearing, working on something, and then just suddenly presenting the finished content.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of goes back to the issues I was talking about with Calamity's, like, cohesion and such with itself.
Yeah.
And just, like, the hesitancy to scrap stuff. Which I know you discussed before, Lilac.
There's plan to have those new HP bars, right? For, like, individual bosses. I know there was art for that posted a while ago.
Hart was making those a while ago, but of course since then Hart has left the team. So, I think the plans around those have changed. it was like before there's going to be like a unique bar for like every boss. But then after Hart left, the whole team just looked at that and was like, that is just way too much work.
Hart had a lot of very grand ideas.
It's kind of ridiculous how much like work Hart managed to like do for the mod just in general.
I mean, the problem is like Hart did a lot of stuff, but like she would like do like her own thing just like off in the corner.
Yeah, again, more cohesion problems, but I mean, at least she did manage to output quite a lot. But her stepping off the team was voluntary, and you know, no hard feelings, I assume.
No hard feelings.
Yeah, no hard feelings there. I know she like sent an announcement in VCMM about it, which you can probably put on the screen. Yeah, no, there's no controversy. She just left one day because she wanted to focus on other stuff.
And speaking of Heart Pluses up and her sprites, I'm kind of curious about the dog sprite.
There hasn't been like a specific focused discussion about it, but like from the general consensus that I've seen, I think people don't want to go forward with that dog sprite just because like designing the fight around such a massive sprite would be a headache.
Yeah, and I can only imagine trying to like make gore for it if she didn't already finish that before she left. Because making gore is like a nightmare, isn't it? For these bosses, especially such massive ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just because, I mean, of course, bigger sprite means bigger
our gore guy.
So.
I don't. Is he still active? Metarex. Yeah. Okay. Probably one of our oldest devs too. Another one of our oldest devs. But
I think the general consensus is that that dog sprite probably won't be used. Which is a shame because, like, you know, it's been posted everywhere on, like, the social medias, like, yeah, this is the dog sprite,
yeah.
This is the new dog sprite that we're going to use. But... And now we're, like, not doing that.
Like, that, I know that sprite wasn't exactly universally loved by, but not just the devs, but, like, the general public as a whole. I mean, I personally liked it, but that's because I'm not super picky with these kinds of things, because in my opinion, gameplay is ultimately king. But I know that people who are more critical of graphics, like, weren't exactly in love with it.
I'm personally a fan that it's not being used. But this is also the first time I'm hearing about it not being used, so long as it ends up good, honestly, I that's my only requirement, and my only request, rather.
I can assure you, we'll do our best to make the boss good again.
Well, I mean, in order to be good again, that means that dog had to be good at one point.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah, I don't think dog has, like, had a good version in his entire history.
Rested.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was kind of just a destroyer clone. It always has been a destroyer clone.
One other thing that kind of gets on my nerves about specifically Dog is how whenever anyone says that, like, Dog's getting a rework, people say another one. Like, he has not been reworked in so many years, like an actual rework. He's gotten some trivial changes, but, like, he hasn't gotten a real, actual rework in, like...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I find that so amusing whenever people say that, because it's just like... People are like, oh, Dog's getting respreaded for the 1000th time.
There's a lot of
completely
exaggeration.
Ignoring the fact that Dog hasn't been respreaded in like 6 years.
I've heard that reputation was mainly just because of like a flurry of resprites that came a long time ago, but
I mean, also, like, they have not been around for the flurry of Providence resprites back in 2018. I'm one of those old people. I saw that. That was fun.
I guess we could talk about a more controversial change as of late, the crates. So the crates thing, the reason why that was done in the first place was because the code was intertwined. Like, it was too intertwined with fixing the hard mode ore bugs, right?
Yes. Back in, like, November of 2024, Altix, who's also known as Iris, they made a branch which, like, updated a bunch of Calamity fishing stuff to be more in line with vanilla. And part of that was, like, modernizing the crates by removing a lot of the loot that didn't, like, line up with vanilla consistency. There's, like, problems with merging the branch, and so it ended up being, like, a single commit. Well, that ended up making it so it was really hard to, like, separate individual changes made in the branch. And that's why the hard mode or crate bug fix took so long to put into a hotfix, just because it was so intertwined with all of those other.
It wasn't even completed by itself,
changes.
so that's why the crates were nerfed at all. Like, when I say nerfed, I'm not talking about the hard mode or bug fix, but, you know, the other crates that were actually nerfed. I mean, I'm kind of curious, though, why did this needed to be fixed right now? Like, if it was bundled with the other changes, why couldn't the hard mode ores wait to be fixed until SSO?
Honestly, I feel like it was kind of just like a tiring thing, where it's just like, every single hotfix, it was just like, yeah, we fixed all this other stuff, but the hard mode ore thing, that hasn't been fixed yet, and I kind of just got tired of it, the human element.
And the fix didn't even work, did it? Yeah, that's.
Oh god, don't even tell me about that. Yeah, no, I made a mistake when I copied over the change, and so the bars haven't actually been removed.
Yeah. Just like all this work and all this controversy just for nothing. I do not envy your position.
Please. Yeah, no, I was like the person who actually put all of that, so yeah, you can blame me for all that. Why don't you?
Part of the reason that they were being removed at all was, I mean, obviously you said the difference between parity and vanilla and such, but there's also the there's more alternate methods planned for being able to actually get that stuff for in SSO, right?
Either there's new stuff planned or there's already renewability sources. For example, the Auric ore, that got removed from titanium crates, but now there's the new recipe where you can use the Yharon soul fragments to make Auric ore.
And yeah, there's a lot more of this planned for SSO, right? But I'm guessing it's going to be, obviously more varied than fishing, but...
Yeah, one big one is the Burrower, I think. That's the Armored Digger replacement. The plan is that's going to drop a lot of different ores, so... that can help offset that and give another renewability source for all of those. Oh my god! For all those ores.
One minor thing I have on my list is there is planned to be a Anahita summoning item, isn't there?
Yes, the Naiad's Warhorn. That is a thing next update.
No haters can finally stop needing to use cheat sheet to just spawn in the question mark every time.
Yes, it will just directly summon Anahita.
When will it be available?
It will be available after you defeat the boss. I think the recipe uses, Depth Cells, Luminal.
One other thing that is being specifically, removed is the bonuses that you get from wings, right?
Yes, that's one of those things that was, removed months ago, but, just because SSO's taken so long, it's kind of fallen back into, the back burner of, random changes in this update. Wings by themselves are already, very useful. And they're already a thing that's basically been turned into something pretty much required boss design starting from hard mode. So adding extra effects on top of that has just been seen as wholly unnecessary. Having it just be the wings and only the wing effect is already a very valuable thing.
But I kind of worry about this running in the other direction now. Is that okay? So if now wings are primarily just for obviously just for their flight because of how useful they are, then what's stopping people from always just using whatever the best available wings are at that tier? Think about solar wings, for example. What's stopping people from just always using solar wings regardless of their class? Postmoon Lord?
Some of them got, some stat changes to their flight. A few of them still have extra effects, but they're related to the actual flight instead of just being separate standalone effects.
That sounds interesting.
For example, Festive Wings spawns, little ornaments that restore flight time. It's similar to the Bone Wings thing, where it gives a lot of flight time, but if you get hit, the flight time's halved.
I love those Bone Wings so much. One boss, one item, my beloved. Literally used as to kill Yharon weaponless. But yeah, Bone Wings are so good. 240 flight time. That's 10 less than Seraph Tracers in mid-hard mode.
They're still different then, they're just not stat sticks. The philosophy is still to maintain some variance among the wings and not just have them be cosmetic.
Leading more into the fact that, they give you flight. Imbuing that flight with extra effects.
But at the same time, it's not just going back on, all the wings should be the exact same. No, they should have some variance like other accessories. But those variants, those changes are just going to have a stronger focus within the realm of flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it totally makes sense then, just specifically having the different wings differ mainly in terms of their flight rather in terms of the other random stuff that they do for no reason.
And I'm just specifying that because I want to make sure both myself and other people understand that that's a difference, because when I first heard that it was being removed, I was like, wait, so you're just taking what was actually in my opinion, a pretty damn good idea of making wings more useful in in a unique way and not just having them all be reskins, just giving them a different identity to them, Demon and Angel Wings, for example, horrible wings, but they provide good stats in early hard mode. compared to other ones that you can also get in early hard mode, such as like Frozen Wings, or the idea is being maintained, it's just going to be taken in a different way other than just, oh hey, stats, because I know having like an extra, 40% move speed or something on top of Harpy Wings was crazy. Like, I would go out of my way for those things all the time because they're so strong, and they're so good. I love them. By the way, Temple is here if you want to look at the map ping.
Yeah, that's like the thing. They just became over-centralizing just because they're so strong.
And having different effects, like, even, I would argue that a good thing that could be done would be integrating the current existence of, like, the Arrow Stone into a pair of wings. Because the Arrow Stone, I'm gonna be honest, rest in peace, buddy. You have been murdered, violently over the last, like, 2 times you've been updated.
Speaking of wings, though, something similar in that vein that I also think is pretty interesting is the tracers. They're being changed a few bit in how they work. So I've ranted a very long time. I think I've ranted about it specifically on CalCast before, about how bad specifically Elation tracers are. Like, okay, so like Celestial tracers, they're mediocre, they're worse than wings, but they're not the worst thing ever. If you really want the ground speed for Providence, it's okay. Like, they're fine. And then you have your Seraph tracers, and like, I would still say they're worse than Wings of Rebirth, but at the same time, they're still decent. They still give so much flight time. It's still like 4 full seconds of flight time. It's still pretty good. So like, it's not too much worse. And then you just randomly have Elation tracers, which are just awful. Like, Silver Wings are right there, and are just better. Like, the problem is that Elation tracers are competing. They are a tool for a ground-based boss against the least ground-based boss in the fight. They have had no purpose at all ever since the Draedon update, which made Silver Wings available as soon as you kill Dog. They've had no purpose. But now, they're finally being retiered. They're being retiered to post-Sentinels, is it?
Yes, to post-Sentinels. All Sentinels.
And they're also being... Are they being buffed at all, or is it... Or are they fine as is?
I think it's like, they get like extra 20 flight time, like that's just how bad they were. Like, despite getting retiered, they still had their flight time buffed.
Yeah, it's always just been kind of funny just how bad specifically they were in comparison to all the other tracers. Like, the other tracers were like, you know, well, I guess we can say are, like, they're mediocre but usable, but like then the Elation tracers are just so laughable. I'm so glad that they finally have a use again, instead of just being worse than Silver Wings in every way that matters.
Poltergeist and Old Duke will have a lot of uses for that.
Yeah, like that's the thing, is that like having them available for like Dog and Polter and OD is very nice, because they can actually have a chance to shine, because it actually has like bosses that you can use them on. Instead of, you know, Yharon, Mr. Always Be in the Air or You Die, McGee. All of them are being resprayed as well, right?
I don't think they're being resprited this update. There are plans to have all of them be resprited, yes. Dia made some resprites for them. And then there's like also the plans to toggle the wings on them if you want to like use your own wings.
Yeah, the specific phrase I heard for this is untracers your tracers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Although I'm not really sure how practical this will be, honestly, because at that point, like, unless you're foregoing wings, that's like a full accessory slot just spent on ground mobility, when like the tracers are like still there and like they're still fine. They still provide fine flight time.
It's more so, yeah, just if you want to forego wings for whatever reason, like you can still get the better like ground stats.
But yeah, other than that, I don't really see it being too practical, but still kind of cool regardless. We could talk about the difficulty system. I just want to preface this. I don't know if any of you who are watching have played current Calamity Master Mode, but it is like beyond a train wreck at the moment. It's just like a miserable, desolate wasteland of
it's
like,
awful
broken
dreams.
Yeah.
Fabsol
yeah, I was about to say, like, it's like Fabsol at his worst, basically. Like,
yeah.
The very end of his career, just, you know, the worst of the worst, really. But so obviously a lot of those changes are being rolled back, right?
At the very least, like, all the bosses are getting toned back down to like actual normal levels.
And this isn't exactly related to Master Mode specifically, but Hivemind and Plaguebringer Goliath are being like reverted back to the way they were, right?
Yes.
Before Bountiful Harvest? Okay, good.
The acceleration in particular in Plaguebringer Goliath was just awful. That's been reverted for a while. And the Hivemind Vile Spit, that also got reverted.
Along with changing how they like reverting some of the worst Master Mode changes, they're also just kind of streamlining the difficulties as a whole. Like, so basically, Expert Death and Master Revengeance will no longer exist. It will just be your normal mode, Expert mode, and Master mode, and then there will be Revengeance, which you can only toggle on specifically Expert mode, and then there will be Death, which is only toggleable on specifically Master mode, which to me I think makes a lot more sense, especially considering the fact that at the moment, like, Revengeance and Death have been very similar for so long now. Like, the fact that they're two different difficulty modes at all is just kinda... It's always felt kinda pointless, but, like, if Death is finally being a mode where they're allowed to, like, experiment a bit more, then that will finally, like, hopefully make them not feel like it's just too, like, of the same thing, basically. Because I know some people really hate Death mode for, like, simultaneously making some bosses worse while not also adding really anything else, but, like... Yeah, at least now it will finally be, like, a bit more of a sensible difficulty system instead of having both Expert and Death be, like, independent of whether you're playing on Master or Expert. Because, yeah, it was just really silly. And what's also worth noting is, for the sake of clarification, the difficulty mode in Calamity for the Worthy is going to be called Malice now.
It's like Legendary Death is planned to be displayed on the World Selection screen as Malice, but it's not going to have any actual changes, it's just a flavor name, just like vanilla Legendary.
But it still will be the Calamity difficulty on, like, For the Worthy. In the same way that a For the Worthy world is not an Expert mode or a Master mode, it's just its own separate thing in the same way that Malice will be its own separate thing from Rev and Death.
Malice does not have any changes. It was just added because the team thought it would be funny, I guess, as an homage.
Although, I do kind of wish it was given a name other than Malice, because things are going to get really confusing.
I really wish so too. Like, I did not like it, honestly, when it was, like, first proposed. I get the idea of, like, paying an homage, but, like, I feel like it's a poor homage of, like, something that just was not thought out well.
I'm not in the mood to defend Malice, but I just think that this would get really... It's going to get really confusing then talking about Malice, especially, I guess this isn't Calamity's problem directly, but recently the no-hit server has started accepting Malice no-hits again, and now we're going to have to constantly be clarifying specifically, like, which version of Malice now. That's definitely not going to get annoying at all. Yeah, but I think there's just going to be a lot more confusion in the future about specifically this, but I guess the, like, lack of confusion between Expert and, Expert Revengeance and Death and Master and all that crap should hopefully finally be resolved. And also, speaking of difficulties and stuff like that, is Calamity's difficulty indicator also going to allow you to change between normal and Expert and Master as well?
Yes, it is. It will let you do that.
So in that case, you'll have all 5 difficulties available to you right then and there?
Yes.
So no more needing to urgently recommend people to, whenever they make their world in Master mode, have to tell them to get Fargo's Mutant mod just to be able to make their world Expert again?
Yeah, the difficulty indicator lets you swap between all the vanilla difficulties freely. Which, I mean, it kind of just needs to if you want to swap between Revengeance and Death, since they're on Expert and Master.
I think it's a lot more of a sensible system than the current way it is now, where you can freely change between Calamity's difficulties but not Vanilla's difficulties.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
I was never into the difficulties. I played Revengeance and that's it. I never had an interest in Death mode, so... Or Malice.
I've always played on Death just because it was, like, the hardest difficulty mode, even if, like, it wasn't really that different from Revengeance most of the time. Like, I think I've done a grand total of 1 playthrough on Revengeance, and that was specifically my Revengeance no-hit playthrough.
Right, okay.
Other than that, it's literally always been Death or Malice when it existed.
It just feels like, at this point, with all the changes that are going to be happening, the difficulty change isn't going to leave a sour taste in my mouth, just because the change to the mod fundamentally on so many levels is going to be so drastic that the change in difficulty, like, not existing isn't even going to feel like it's real. The fact that you have the freedom to work on the bosses for the first time means that they're probably going to get drastically changed. So any modes or any, like, you know, memory of, like, a certain way a boss used to be on a certain mode is probably going to be overwritten by the fact that the boss is just going to function better since it can finally be touched.
Absolutely, for sure.
And so the difficulty for anyone who's, like, mourning that, because I get it, change sucks sometimes,
yeah.
especially when you love it. Well, you're probably not going to notice it too much because any, you know, fundamental changes are probably just going to come in the form of making a boss like smoother or work better, and those changes will go in conjunction with the difficulty, and so you're just gonna notice like a few smaller changes to bosses that aren't touched that much, granted, and those will be more in line with like functionality versus like active change. Does anyone have a singular heart crystal? I'm one away from permanent.
I have them fully researched, so...
Oh, damn you.
That's something I've been wanting to ask if anyone has, if anyone needs any more, so...
I'm at 160, so...
well, okay, well... Okay, well...
I found
okay,
0.
Well, there you go. There's a full stack. I think this is genuinely, like, my first time ever using Luxors. Ever. Because I never care enough to, look for it in a normal playthrough, and I don't care enough to cheat it in for no hits.
And it got reworked next update. Mainly just like how the extra projectiles function, and it now triggers on hit instead of when you use the weapon.
I found the Onyx excavator key, so you know what that means, baby. Time to get stuck indoors.
Speaking of that, I've heard murmurings that Onyx key would get nerfed. Is that, like, coming in the next update?
It had its speed nerfed.
Okay, it's just its speed.
Like, drastically nerfed.
So it's more like a tank than anything. Than going, like, insanely fast like how it does right now.
It's not, like, something you can viably move around the world in.
You're talking about, like, world changes, or really, like, changes to just the way the world works. I remember hearing at some point that they would be, like, changing, like, getting rid of the evil island and doing something else. The evil island that contains the opposite world evil.
I think the plan was, like, in the, like, Sky update, whenever that happens, to, like, replace it with a large generated structure, like, floating island, that, like, serves the same purpose, sort of. I think it was, like, the Clouded Acropolis, I think.
Talking about the Sky update, I assume that would also be the update that involves the Retier of Dragon Folly?
Yeah, that would be the plan. To, like, include it in that update, since it's, like, directly related to the Sky.
And it is confirmed that that Tiershift is now happening, right?
That's, like, the most confirmed Tiershift at this point. There's been other ones that are, like, proposed, but not, like, totally confirmed.
What about the Evil 2s being more late game? Has that been confirmed yet?
Yeah, those are gonna be, like, those are planned to, like, directly swap places with Dragon Folly.
I'm guessing details for that are still, like, really fuzzy, though.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's so far off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I assume that the Sky update is also going to be, like, another major biome rework, sort of like the Sunken Sea, but I assume probably not nearly as massive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we've learned our lesson from this update to not scope creep the shit out of stuff. And if we haven't, then well, the mod's just gonna die at that point, like, just not even sugarcoating it.
I really hope that you guys can, like, you know, work out the kinks that the Calamity development cycle currently has, which, speaking of that, would you say that it feels like Fab is gone yet, as in, like, in terms of development, or do you still feel like you're still really feeling the effects of his reign?
At this point, I feel like we're past the point where we can really use Fabsol as an excuse for, like, poor development skills or whatnot. It does feel like there's, like, sort of a power vacuum with Fabsol being gone, which has probably contributed to why it's felt like there's been less of a focus for Sunken Sea lately.
Okay.
Because, like, people can't focus as much on it.
Well, I mean, Fab didn't really give you that much direction, did he? I mean, I've heard that it was mostly Ossitron who was the one who was, like, respected as the...
We mostly kind of self-organized ourselves.
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely. We just had to do things ourselves. This was something that always happened. Like, the self-organization, I was the one that did the original organization of the Astral update and everything. I did everything. Fabsol just, like, did its own thing. And that's what...
Yeah. That's kind of like a general problem.
So, like, in that case, it really wouldn't be impacted by Fab leaving, then, would it?
Not really.
Not really.
But yeah, I do hope you guys manage to work out those kinks in the future, because, I mean, again, it's kind of important when you have that many people in the mod.
Yeah, it's definitely important to be, like, organized.
I don't know why Perforators is focusing me down so much specifically, but...
You're the host.
I am unequipped for any of this, because Ow. I was trying to go for, Summoner, because I've never done a Summoner, I've never finished a Summoner playthrough of anything. So I don't have all of the ideal stuff for it.
I literally did not even see that in this game.
Can't wait when this boss is reworked. Gonna rework again.
Just gonna drag him over here for a bit.
Alright, that's fine.
Get mine out of.
You can handle the worm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Nasty Choya is like broken.
And get my Stormlight.
Yeah, I'm just taking the hive for a little bit of a stroll. Like we're just having a good time.
I've also heard that the this was a change that Fab made, but specifically getting rid of the vanilla like chunk system.
That's like so old.
This
Like-
list has been built up over the course of like a year of me just like taking notes about from changelogs and stuff.
I mean, that makes sense because like we've just taken so long this update, but yeah, Fabsol like apparently just like got tired of like vanilla chunk loading one day and was just like, I'm gonna implement a config that lets you disable this, and so he just did, and it's like just one of those things where it's just like Fabsol impulsively deciding to do something.
We've been overly reliant on configs for a while.
Would you say it was like a bad change, or?
I wouldn't say it's bad, but it is kind of inconsequential.
Yeah, because I mean normally when playing Terraria you don't really, at least I definitely don't feel like there's any real chunk loading or lag at all.
Yeah, same.
It's not Minecraft.
Yeah, it's not like Minecraft where there's like so many blocks to the point where it's like, you know, where loading them in is an actual like chore or a consequence thing, but just having them all in memory, like, who knows, maybe we might see like more stability in multiplayer actually. Because like maybe then you can just like load over the entire world instead of needing to like
Not sure.
send other people chunks. Well, the Rod of Discord will no longer be sold from the wizard, but it is getting its like old fishing recipe back, right?
Yes, it has like the exact same recipe back. Ow, I'm trapped.
It's like Chaos Fish and some other easy stuff to get.
Basically the exact same recipe from before the recipe was removed. But I think in the future there's plans to like change the drop rate to like be more common or whatnot, instead of just like a boring crafting recipe.
Yeah, because Rod of Discord is like one of the most miserable things to farm in vanilla.
While simultaneously being one of the most important things to obtain.
Not really, honestly.
Well, sorry.
At the same time, it's sort of like we don't want to encourage people just always getting Rod of Discord. Like it should be an optional good thing to get.
In the same vein of like other really like very popular and very good things that you could get like for very easily, they're also removing the ability to get the golden fishing rod just from like feeding the angler to thrashers, right?
That's a product of its time. That's my fault. Feeding the angler to the trasher to get the goldenrod was my idea, and I'm kind of glad that it is. Or yes, I am glad that it's going to be removed, because that's uncool, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we want to encourage killing children.
It's gonna make Calamity rated adults only now. I mean, that's the entire reason that angler leaves in the first place, isn't it? Instead of dying.
Yeah, because he's a child.
Yeah, because then that would make that game adults only.
Yeah.
It's also the same reason that there are no children in the Hitman games.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, at least that's why I assume. Exo Box is now being properly moved to post-game. Is it getting its speed up back?
Yeah, that's the plan, to like make it only be obtainable after Scal is defeated.
But like, is it getting its the speed up that it lost back, or is it just gonna be as is?
Currently unsure. I mean, it could be nice to give it back, like just because it's an endgame thing. It would be nice to have that sort of movement in endgame.
I mean, it's pretty nice for Primordial Worm.
I think that would be a clever thing to do. Or a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, Primordial Worm is its own kind of can of worms.
Personally, I'm not a fan of like how the Abyss is currently. Like it just, with the idea of expanding upon biomes and mini biomes and stuff, Abyss is something that just like desperately needs a touch up.
There have been plans to touch it up. Astral, one of them. It's a product of its time.
All of our biomes really need a glow up.
Like there's just a lot of modernization that needs to like happen with Calamity, and I think the idea for the community to really internalize is that this is the start of that process. This update is the start of that process. And that goes from weapons, that goes to bosses, that goes to you know, working on the biomes. That this is the beginning of the modernization of Calamity.
We've been kind of in that like area where it's just like going back and revisiting old content, to make it better.
And looking at what needs to stay and what needs to go under like a more professional lens, because obviously it's happened before. like, tons of stuff has been deleted in the past, tons of stuff has been reworked, it's been, you know, carved in so many different ways, but I think a part of that, again, was going back to this whole idea of, like, Calamity kind of being a museum, where people contribute their own pieces to its history, and then eventually it just becomes a position for people to be able to see what has happened to it over the years. But now we're looking at, like, oh, this needs a direction. So it's a matter of finding the people that can best allow for that, allow for it to have a clear and cohesive direction. And I think a part of that, I think it's good that the team is at least probably looking for people to be, like, team leads in certain areas, so that, you know, stuff can make genuine progress in that way. And so that changes in the future can be, you know, much more, like, aligned to the updates that they're named. Like, again, GP talked about how, oh, this is the modernization update, not really the Sunken Sea overhaul. And having that capability to really jump into one specific area and just stick to it is a big deal, and a big change moving forward, probably, and something that I assume will be a priority. Especially since now, of all times, is, like, the best time to do it, with, you know, Fabsol gone, and, you know, tons of different developers kind of, like, leaving for various different reasons, and...
I mean, there's a lot of developers, so it's kind of about, like, whenever... It's not like there's a consistent pattern between them leaving. I mean, there's plenty of different reasons that someone will want to leave a project, and just the fact that there's so many, like... The fact that there's just so many developers kind of just makes it inevitable.
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is that that's always existed, but now there's, like, a very clear shift in the dynamic of, like, oh, the main leadership is actually just gone now. So we can, like, rebuild this from the ground up. And with that rebuilding comes the content that you've worked on underneath this, the struggle, and then trying to fit it into this new idea of what it could be. I also didn't know about, like, this whole thing with the Sky update, or, like, what you're gonna be doing, like, with the roadmap for Calamity updates, right? But I feel like we'll be able to trust that more now as a result of the shift in leadership and the modernized updates to, like, weapons and bosses, and how the game functions, like, fundamentally, because I know that story is probably going to be taking more of, like, a hand with regards to Calamity's progression and its gameplay. And so there's going to be that factor inside it as well, and it's just going to be changing the formula in a few ways that haven't really been seen yet. It's a lot to think about, because with this update, there's just so much that's changing in ways that aren't necessarily established. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the player base reacts to different changes, and how that will also change the roadmap as things go, because you're clearly playing with a whole new field of ideas and concepts. And since this is a project that has evolved and has dramatically changed before, I just kind of wonder how it's going to look.
Certainly different than what it is right now, just because of the different philosophies of the team.
There's that spoiler, that teaser that Doze posted a while ago with, like, that new like worm AI system kind of thing, like with, like, a Quack Scourge, like, whipping around really quickly depending on where the player was facing. But, like, I don't really know what that.
Yeah, he's been using that for a lot of different things. He used that for the Burrower. That's also going to be used for the Desert Scourge rework. Just to make it feel more natural as, like, a segmented enemy.
I mean, pretty violent whips. I'm not sure if that would be natural to be moving through sand super quickly.
We can take some creative liberties. It's a fantasy game.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, one other controversial change, or at least a change I assume will be controversial, is Cosmolight being tier shifted as well. So basically, it will no longer be a, like, you click it and then it just instantly cycles between time. Instead, it will be more like a time stop. It'll just stop time, and then that's it. It'll just stop time for however long. And so the Cosmolight specifically is going to be post Deus, I believe.
Basically, what it is they're re-adding Moonlight, and that's going to freeze time. Because, like, the primary purpose of Cosmolight was just kind of allowing you to fight the mechanical bosses so much. And then Cosmolight will let you, like, fast forward time. It won't let you, like, skip ahead to set set time periods. It'll just let you like rapidly accelerate time, and it also lets you freeze time as well.
To be clear, the earlier version, the Moonlight, is like that will be available right at the start of hard mode, right? And also, the way I heard it work is it kind of has to like charge up. Like, it's like a half an hour of time stop, but in order to actually be able to freeze time for half an hour, you have to like not use it for half an hour. Is that right?
Yes, I believe that's how it works. It's not a completely free thing, yeah.
But yeah, it still does ease the really hard mode, needing it always to be night and such. And at the end of the day, you'll still have the bed if you need to speed stuff up. Does bed actually cause that to regenerate faster? Like, regenerates cooldown faster?
I believe Cosmolight just doesn't have a cooldown at all. You can just freeze it forever.
Moonlight will have has a recharge time, right? And I'm asking if sleeping will let you, let you recharge it faster.
I haven't tested that, actually. That would be a good thing to test. Though, like, I feel like it would be.
Do you want guys want to fight Brand Cthulhu? Because I'm currently staying in the Crimson with a very crappy arena.
You know what? Yeah. I was gonna do that, because I need to get obsidian armor, so...
Sorry, I have to go eat dinner, so I'm gonna have to leave now.
So thank you for being with us, CIT, and thank you for all the insight and insider information that you provide with us.
Yes, of course. I've always been invested in this, so...
Well, thank you for sticking around.
Happy to help with this.
Yep,
Alright, see ya.
So, point blank damage is finally being removed from ranger weapons.
I'm not sure. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Like, it was definitely insanely OP on certain weapons, like the Hellborn. I think it's probably the poster child of blowing up absolutely everything. What I've heard is that it was kind of like a Ultra Kill reference. I don't know why I said Cosmolight.
Wait, there's a gold worm. Wait, does anyone have a bug net? Come to spawn. There's a gold worm. I need you to pick it up.
I can go teleport over to. You wait.
Okay.
Where's the merchant?
I'll stay here. Merchant should be at spawn. Oh wait, he died, didn't he? Hold on. I'll go to spawn then. Because I have a bug net somewhere.
Like unequip Plexus, and put it back on.
There.
There you go. Yeah, the worm is over here.
Fuck.
Did it die?
There's no way!
There's no way that all of those worms missed.
You killed the gold one!
Specifically the gold one. Because I thought I was not on my leather whip.
God damn it. This hurts.
How did the leather whip miss all of the normal ones, but hit specifically the gold one?
But yeah, so point blank damage kind of just felt like one of those mechanics that like didn't really fit too well in with everything. It was kind of just slapped on.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of being a reference to something else, which is not usually a good system. Like, not a good reason to actually have anything.
Andrew was extremely prone to that. I mean, the entirety of the Revengeance mode was a reference to Metal Gear Rising. I don't think it's bad, it's just...
I mean, like this, yeah, it's just the specific name of the mode. Like, people sometimes get hung up on it. It's just like, who cares? That's called Revengeance. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It could just as easily have been called anything else.
Yeah, it's just, Andrew also had quite the problem of, like, getting really into playing a game, and then, trying to apply a reference to it. I mean, it happened with Signalis, it happened with Ultra Kill, Resident Evil, I think.
And then obviously Metal Gear Rising.
Borderlands as well.
But yeah, it tends to happen a lot, and so I guess the removal of point blank damage is kind of getting rid of one of those bastions of idiotic game design.
Yeah.
And even if by itself it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was still kind of pointless. And like any like ranger weapons that would be like particularly hit hard by this are being like being tweaked, right? Just to make sure that they're not made too weak as a result. I'm still rocking like all pre-boss equipment.
I think we all are, but like honestly, this is probably the most like legitimate. You know, I think Journey was a good call.
Yeah, it really was. Thanks for suggesting that, by the way. I definitely wouldn't have thought of that on my own. Interestingly, this is something I'm kind of happy about. They're removing the charging mechanic, like, from Draedon weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm pretty happy about. I wrote a suggestion a while ago to remove power cells entirely, because I think power cells are, like, genuinely just a bad mechanic. And it got rejected, but like, this I feel like might be one step closer to actually seeing that realized. I think power cells are like genuinely a really bad mechanic. There's kind of two approaches to power cells, like the two approaches that players have to power cells. The veterans know about the power cells, they know how important they are, And so they'll just immediately raid the Draedon labs and place down as many of the cell factories as they can find, right?
Yep.
So they already know about that, and so the mechanic is kind of pointless to them because they just know to place it down immediately and then,
forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's completely pointless and useless to them. And then you have the new player approach, who doesn't know about it at all, and then they get to post Yharon, and then they start asking, okay, how the hell am I supposed to be able to fight the Exomechs? And they just can't, because, they have to wait for hours and hours just to be able to, just to be able to fight this boss because they didn't know about decryption. Not, to be clear, it's not... The issue isn't the decryption time. The decryption time is fairly trivial, all things considered, but specifically the power cells. The fact that you just need so many of them and that they manufacture so slowly. I think power cells are genuinely just a bad mechanic.
It's not communicated well either.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would like to see them removed, although I know that instead what's being done is they're making it so that a couple of the earlier a couple of the earlier boss items need to have schematics decrypted. I think it's specifically Plaguebringer Goliath's summon and Aureus' summon.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so those two are going to need to be... you're going to need to decrypt something in order to actually fight them. So just be aware of that. But
which I honestly think is a bit of a band-aid fix.
I 100% agree. It's a complete band-aid fix. It doesn't actually fix the underlying problem, but at the very least, it reduces the probability that a new player can get to endgame and not know about power cells.
It will work for that function. It'll just be annoying to players who know previously that, oh, wait, I could have fought this in a previous version. I remember this. Why does this suddenly require this? That sucks. It'll be helpful for newer players, but it'll be an annoying hindrance for returning ones.
That's a good point, actually, is that new players coming back are going to be surprised, but at least they probably won't get as big of a surprise or as big of a nasty shock as new players do when getting to Exos, obviously because, well, for starters, there's less tiers that they need to research, and also because the bosses in question are more skippable.
I proposed an idea to Sunny a while ago that the Exos, or the entire system behind this could use one very crucial overhaul, and that's having the decryption computer be the crafting station. And also having it basically on its UI on the right side next to the decryption show outlines of the different component parts, or at least the next one, right? And showing you kind of the materials that you need in order to make it, or showing you just kind of the progress of oh, what's the next step for this thing? Just at all times whenever you're interacting with the computer, because then, once you've, crafted it or discovered it, it's it's right there. You can always look at it. It's not something where you need to look at your crafting bench and wonder, oh, wait, what's that thing that's relevant to the computer? Oh, wait, it's over here now, and now I need to go look for it. Oh my god, where is all this stuff? Just attach the crafting table and bench to the computer, and then you won't have a problem. Plus, it'll also allow for players to get much more invested in the in those Draedon weapons, because those will all be crafted there, and you get immersed a lot more by it when you have everything there.
You also know one specific thing is that they have to discover the codebreaker. So I think having the codebreaker in a location, having the codebreaker be in an easy-ish to find location too, instead of it being you need to manually go out of your way to craft it, because again, new players don't know what they're doing.
Especially for an endgame boss,
but still, at the end of the day, I just don't think the power cells themselves serve a real function, so I would be perfectly fine to see them removed, and like I said, I do think that charging being removed is one step in the right direction, although admittedly the other, boss items needing decryption as well is like a JFL said, a band-aid fix, but again, it's better than nothing.
It's better than
it's all I'll
nothing,
say. So hopefully less players will manage to get to Exos and not know what power cells are.
Absolutely. But overall, this update and the future of Calamity really is kind of mysterious and kind of unknown, because there are so many factors to how this mod can be changed in the future, given all the modernization of the current patch, of the competition with Tmod Loader, and how things are going in the community as a whole, and also just the sheer changes that have happened with the mod within the last year and the people who have worked on it. Calamity is just going to change dramatically again. And we'll come to see whether or not we like it.
Yeah, we'll see what these dramatic change, like how dramatic these changes are, and like how much they shake up the landscape once Sunken Sea update comes out. But like, the Sunken Sea update will at least hopefully be a good indication of what the rest of Calamity's development lifecycle is going to be like. Let's hope it's a good one, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's any indication based on, like, the weapon and accessory reworks, at the very least, I am extremely excited by all of those. I cannot stress how much I am looking forward to the different weapons that Dyke and Sunny have been cooking up, and different accessory reworks, and a few of the boss changes. I just want to see my passion for this project and this mod be lit up again. And I feel like this update might bring some of that joy back. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, if it lives up to the hype, then it definitely will. And I do think also a lot of people who have maybe been like turned away from Calamity in the past or didn't like the direction it was going in, I hope a lot of them like give it another try and do enjoy what they see. Time will tell is all I can really say.
The accessories also that now have different modifiers that Calamity are adding. They're unique now. Same thing with like Rogue, but instead they're not Rogue. They're like based on, what is it, life regeneration and max health?
Basically what Calamity is having multiple changes to this accessory like reforged stuff. Like they're making it so that there's a reforge that will be more focused on specifically life regeneration. But something interesting they're also doing is making it so that the lower tiers of reforges also like give different benefits instead.
Right, yeah. Like Rash, for example, gives you 2% crit chance and 2% melee speed, I believe.
Yes, something like that. It's very interesting. I'm not really sure what this adds to the game too much. I guess more build variety is always nice, but
I'm not really sure what the intent is either. But I do acknowledge that, like, in vanilla especially, there's no real reason for anyone to go with anything other than the +4 modifiers because it's the highest stat, right? But at the same time, with stuff like Rash, where it's like, okay, you get 2% melee speed and 2% crit. Okay, why would you not just do Violent and Lucky on 2 different accessories? Like, I like the idea of shaking up the options, so I'm not going to be, like, against it. I just don't really know exactly what the goal is. I guess I don't really know what the goal is with vanilla having them the way they are, besides just being like, oh, hey, the system's kind of always been like this because the Goblin has existed for so long, and thus the reforges that exist in the game, like, you just have the most powerful once you get the Goblin, because Goblin used to be, like, at a later stage in the game. You know, they weren't supposed to be super impactful, and now they're just, like, the standard that you need to have, because now the Goblin is just so easy to get compared to the rest of the content as you progress in the game. So maybe something to consider with the reforges would be to look at it from a progression lens as well, and maybe that's something we'll see in the future. Like,
you can maybe, like, get better reforges as time goes on instead of having them all available right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly could be interesting. Yeah, because, like, I do think reforges are interesting in the sense of, like, giving you a bit more, like, customizability over your build. Like, you know, just being able to put the finishing touches on it without needing to, like, specifically devote an entire accessory to one specific aspect of it.
I agree, and I'm just saying, like, from the vanilla perspective, though, like, there's no real point to having modifiers that are +1, +2, +3% when +4 is just, like, right there all the time.
Yeah, it's more just, it feels like it's just there to waste your money and literally nothing else.
Well, not only that, but also for new weapons and new accessories that you just get, like, while you're exploring. But the fact is, that isn't really important anymore, just because of how easy it is to change.
Yeah.
And also how much exploration, especially Calamity, isn't actually as active, since there's more game to play. So the exploration factor, like, the world is only so big, you're actually going to discover it. And discovering new accessories like that and having those drops, the Goblin's just going to be available all the time, and you always have the money. So I'm just not sure entirely what the intent is, especially considering that all the reforges are percentage-based. So there's no actual way to scale it in a healthy way, besides just giving you more options. And I feel like that might be the intent here. The problem is the options and the variety within these accessory changes are things that we already have.
I'm personally just interested in like seeing just how broken you can make a regen build now if you can like just get additional like, you know, +7 or 8 like regen just for free. But yeah, it definitely is going to be interesting seeing that like meta develop, but I definitely think there is going to be some development on that front then.
I think there will be. This is definitely a post like I left decision of that has been made, but it'll be interesting to see how that works.
And I guess one last topic then is plushies.
Yeah, the plushie already. I got them, yeah.
I think that like Draedon is obviously a clear choice, but then Signus is a bit of an oddball.
Signus seems marketable, so I can't complain.
It was mainly because like he was one of the only bosses that like wasn't planning on having another major massive like resprite visually.
Yeah.
Like the one, there was that one a while ago that had the one where he has like a blade underneath his like robe or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one scrapped?
I think it was sort of scrapped. The blade is replaced with a different attack that's similar to what was planned, or what has been planning. I know that the Signus Resprite and the animations are still in production. They were done by Pokerface. Pokerface is still doing them, I think, but...
I've been kind of pitching the idea, and something I would like to see one day is like a dog plushie with like separately sold segments, so you can make dog as long as you wanted.
Would be interesting.
Oh, that'd be kind of neat.
I was thinking, like, I have a sketch. It's unrelated to Abyss, but it was a joke about having just a super long plushie, like 6 foot long plushie of just a worm, any of the worm bosses.
You would sell 2 different kinds of dog plushie. You would sell a dog plushie that had, I don't know, 1 to 3 segments or something, and then you would sell like segments of like sets of 3 segments separately. Yeah. But yeah, I do think Calamity overall is going in a much better direction, obviously, with Fabsol gone, but at least to me it's kind of apparent that there still are some underlying issues that really should be addressed before.
Yeah,
oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
I know, like, CIT mentioned that, like, they've kind of gotten to the point where they can't use Fab as an excuse anymore for poor management, but at the same time, like, he still was there for still more of a majority of its development. And so I am curious how the team is going to be able to handle it when he's not there from the beginning of it.
We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, for better or for worse, regardless of what direction Calamity is going in, we will be here to cover it. So, thank you for watching, and you guys want to say goodbye as well?
Yep. See ya.
Later.
Alright, and yep, so see you next time then. Goodbye.